Welcome back. We are on episode 2 of Love. We're talking about love. So you want to start off with
Love Week.
Yes.
All right. So let's do a podcast review first. And this is from Casey Crystal Sporer. Although this post is from early December 2018, I noticed that it still affects me on a daily basis. A black belt is just a white belt who never quits.
Yep.
Yes.
This is so true for so much of my life. Showing up makes all the difference. Simply keeping at things, no matter what drawbacks pop up, you don't lose until you quit. Thank you, Tana Amen, for having shared this. It accompanies me in my days. You and Daniel are such wonderful examples. I draw strength from all that both of you do in order to aim my life in the direction of the Brain Warrior's way.
Wow.
Thank you and congratulations on your new black belt in Kempo.
Thank you. So cool.
You are a warrior.
Love
And being married to a warrior is very scary. I know she could take me out at a moment's notice. So you go, why is he so nice? Well, it's because he's scared. No, that's actually not true. You were not a black belt when we met.
No.
You certainly got your first black belt in Taekwondo and then another one in Kempo and just got your second degree.
Yes, I love
You are a very dangerous individual.
She is the person in the office that if anything happens, we would hide behind. So we all joke about that. We're thankful for her every day. But I wanted to start off this episode with a couple of rapid fire questions. So we're going to go to you first, Daniel. If you and Tana as a couple had a theme song, what would the theme song be? And I'm going to ask you first because I know her answer is going to be very different than yours.
This is a joke in our family. Oh my gosh.
But actually, for our wedding dance, we couldn't decide on what to do. So we did two. We did one for me, which was The Prayer by Celine Dion and Andre Bocelli. It's sweet. It's beautiful.
Gorgeous.
And that
And then we did a record scratch right through it.
Yeah.
And broke into Santana. So
Santana's smooth.
no, I would have done Def Leppard,
Yes.
but he wouldn't let me do that. So Santana, we could agree on.
It's an interesting transition from Celine Dion and Andre Bocelli to Def
It
Leppard.
really describes our personalities to a T. So it's often a joke with us because he loves very like sweet music and I just like rock. So it's just...
Now, next question goes to you, Tana. Is there anything that you could think of that moves you to this day? So it could be whether it's
absolutely.
Karate, like whatever it is.
You're not talking about relationship.
No.
Oh, yeah. Definitely martial arts
is
one of my big passions in life. I mean, I love being a mother. My relationships are number one.
Yeah.
And starting with my relationship with God and working its way down. But as far as the thing I do for fun, martial arts.
Daniel?
Thing I do for fun, hang out with Tana.
Yes. I love that.
But you're supposed to say something besides that.
I love that.
Why?
Yeah, something besides that.
I'm
Outside your relationship.
speaking. I'm going to
But you
Atlanta.
like
I got a
ping pong?
couple of talks. Yeah. But I mean, what really sort of moves my groove is hanging out with you. And I love lecturing.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true. And you love writing. Can't stop him.
Yeah. So kind of transitioning to being unstoppable. Do you two have any role models that you look to? I know Tana and I have talked about mentors. Tana's one of my mentors. Do you guys have anybody that you look to for advice? Life, work, business, relationships?
I have different people in different categories. So whether it's relationships, I've got, or spiritual advice. I have a dear friend, Sandra, that she was on our brief week.
Yes.
If it's business, I have other, it just depends on what area I'm looking at.
Right.
So we're blessed to have so many cool guests on our show that I'm able to sort of reach out to. So I have different mentors in different areas. And one thing I've always said is you can have mentors that don't know that they're mentors.
Yeah.
You can follow them. You can read their books or follow them on Facebook or, whatever. I just think that's a really important thing. So I don't necessarily think it's one person in all areas.
Do you have any advice to people that are looking for maybe a role model or a mentor or, something that they can kind of, hone in on if they're unsure of what they're looking for exactly? Do you have any recommendations?
So my recommendation is find someone who has accomplished what you're trying to accomplish.
Oh, I like that.
So when I was really depressed, super depressed, And it can be, I don't care who it is, just follow the person that you know has accomplished what you've tried to accomplish. So I was really depressed. I had thyroid cancer, and someone handed me a Tony Robbins thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, eye roll, right? Oh,
Yeah.
big commercial thing. But when I listened to it, it just made sense at the time.
Right.
It was enough to crack the thought.
It's what you needed.
Right, it's what I needed. I needed to hear that message at the time, and it sort of pulled me out of the thinking I was in. Just the idea that I could change my thinking was a whole new thought for me. Now that's like our whole thing. But just at that time in my life, I started following his work because I'm like, I need someone who actually speaks this way, who does this.
Yeah.
So find someone who's accomplished what you need to accomplish and follow them. And I love what he says. Success leaves clues. It's that simple.
I love that. Daniel, any role models that you
Well,
love, aspire?
probably the most important one's been my dad.
Yeah.
And my mom over the years. But, with business, my dad. And the rest of my life, it's really Tana. I'm just very good at listening.
He is very good at listening.
So
He is a good listener.
Yeah, no, and he has been my rock for the past 13 years.
So speaking of rock, Daniel will go first. What are 3 qualities of Tana that you most admire, and why?
she has a huge heart. So she has a tough exterior. I mean, it's true. She can scare people.
Don't tell him.
But she has a tough exterior. But she's so caring and she's so smart. I really appreciate that. And she's an out of the box thinker. So she doesn't think like everyone else does just because everyone else does.
Right.
And of course she's beautiful and makes my heart go fast.
Tana.
But that only sort of gets you in the door.
Right.
It absolutely doesn't keep you there.
Right.
That's so sweet.
That is sweet. Tana.
So Daniel is my rock. There's no question. Since I met him, it took me a while to trust just how kind he is, just how nice he is.
Right.
But the thing about him, I think that is one of the most amazing things is his heart and how much he does for family is honestly, I don't even know that it has a limit. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So I don't think most people would do half of what he does for people that he cares about.
I love that.
And it's actually mind boggling. And it's, when things feel crazy to me or out of control, he's probably the only person that can make me always think it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
It's going to be fine.
You guys are that perfect balance, you know?
Oh,
Like,
yin and yang, no doubt.
Yes.
So-
Like absolutely. Like you couldn't be, more different in certain areas,
Yeah.
but the way that you work together as a team is
Oh,
so
it's
admirable.
definitely yin and yang.
Yeah, it's incredible. I
And
love
even
that.
though our backgrounds are very different, I'm one of 7.
Right.
And she's an only child. My growing up was
Was-
relatively stable.
Right.
And
But
normal.
I have 5 sisters, so it can't be that stable.
He had such a lovely family. It's unbelievable.
But yours was really unpredictable. So mine
Chaotic
was
would be a word.
predictable.
Yeah.
That as long as we
Scary.
start with what do we want? Kind, caring, loving, supportive, passionate relationship. Does my behavior today get me what I want? It really helps to balance out some of those differences.
Yeah.
I love that. We get a lot of questions on social media about dating. And of course, the dating sphere is much different than it was 10 years ago, than it was 20 years ago,
Right.
than it was 30 years ago. Do you guys have anything that you do weekly? So whether it's like a designated date night or a movie night or something that you guys look forward to doing weekly? And is that something that's planned by Daniel? Is that something that's planned by Tana? Or,
People are going to think we're so boring, but the thing is we both like the same things. And I think that's the key.
Yeah.
We love being home and watching movies. We love going for walks and we love going to the movies and going to dinner.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really our routine.
Yeah.
But we want to do the same things. We don't go out drinking. We go to concerts sometimes. But we don't.
Oh, we just heard Joel Gottler, who's our agent.
Yeah.
And I think Joel's like 74 or something. Play the harmonica.
He was amazing.
At
in LA?
the
Yeah.
Tellos
It was
in
really great.
Studio City.
Oh.
He was the bomb. I was just shocked.
Yeah.
how good he was.
But we do stuff like that. But we both, I think the key is if one of you is like a party animal or wants to go, there are things I like to do that he won't do. And that's okay. We give each other that space.
Right.
He doesn't like to camp. He's never going to camp.
I don't like to
He
camp
doesn't like
either.
my survival classes. That's
I
okay.
camped. I was in the Army. I'm
Yeah.
done.
So he doesn't like all the weird stuff I do. And he gives me that space and I give him the space to do the things he likes to do.
Right.
So.
I love that.
Yeah.
So this is our last question, then we'll move on to our next episode. But what is one thing that Tana's done this week, Daniel, that's made you just so proud to be her partner? I think that I love our social media, our gurus, they ask us all the time this question. I
Well,
love
she made kale citrus salad last night for dinner.
I made dinner.
Oh no, it's
Oh my
that
gosh.
dinner. It's of all of her recipes. This is like in the top 5.
I know, and it's
I
not
could
my
just
favorite,
eat
but I made it for him.
over and
Sounds
over.
delicious.
I actually didn't tell you. I tried to call you to say, hey, I'm bringing leftovers for lunch. I didn't bring them all. So she doesn't like it when I take
Well, he takes
all of them.
everything. Like, there's none left for anybody
But it's, when I first met her, she couldn't cook.
at all.
I
In
love
fact,
that. I love this story.
not at all.
I prayed
Yes.
she wouldn't cook because she was so awful and would just create this
Oh my
bomb in the kitchen. It's like, how does, because like we're just dating and you cook, I'll clean up. Like
I'm like,
2
okay.
hours cleaning up, really. But since then, she really learned about food and she's smart out of the box, right? I said that.
Yes.
That she can really take high quality food that is medicine quality and make it taste awesome. And I just love that recipe.
And I think for me too, when I started working here, was almost 4 years ago, I'm a picky eater. And I remember Tana's previous assistant telling me a little bit about the Amen way of eating. And I remember thinking, oh, wow, I'm so plain. This couldn't be much different. And I remember trying a couple recipes and thinking to myself, oh my gosh, it doesn't even taste any different. Like everything is so tasty. Everything is so good. I'm full. I'm not hungry. I don't feel like I'm going on a diet. And I feel like I have so much more focus and energy throughout the day,
Yeah.
which is incredible.
And the funny thing
and
is,
so you're not suffering
At all.
It's an act of love.
Yeah, that's why I do it.
Doing the right thing is an act of love. Eating bad food, low quality food, is an act of self-hatred. Drew Carey actually said that. I put his quote in my new book,
Yeah.
The End of Mental Illness. It's eating bad food is not a reward. It's a punishment. And when you get
Yeah, I
that
believe
in your
that.
head, everything changes.
Yeah, I believe that. And so that is one of the things that I do for him, even when it's like making dinner. Like no one would think of that as an act of love, but I don't really love to cook in spite of writing 8 cookbooks,
Yes.
right? I don't love to, I do it
Yeah.
for my health and my family.
Yeah.
So it's an act of service.
And it's also something that you guys are able to enjoy together.
When he gets all excited, I'm like, I'm just making dinner. And he gets so excited. It's like 10 years later. And he's like all excited about it.
It's the little things that count. Well, we'll be right back, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us.
If you're enjoying the Brain Warriors Way podcast, please don't forget to subscribe so you'll always know when there's a new episode. And while you're at it, feel free to give us a review or 5-star rating, as that helps others find the podcast.
If you're interested in coming to Amen Clinics, use the code PODCAST10 to get a 10% discount on a full evaluation at amenclinics.com. For more information, give us a call at 855-978-1363.